You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Wednesday the 11th of March, 2026. It is 80 days after the winter solstice. It is 9 days before the spring equinox. Today is the 12th day of the American and Israeli war against Iran and Lebanon. Yesterday, the president posted a message on his social media network that threatened Iran with annihilation if they close the Strait of Hormuz. Quote, "We will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to be built back as a nation again. Death, fire, and fury will rain upon them." Unquote. May we never become used to this rhetoric of fetishized violence and casual cruelty. The sun rises today at 7:14 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 1:06 p.m. The sun sets today at 6:58 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 7:25 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 7:56 p.m. The length of daytime today is 2 minutes 42 seconds longer than yesterday. The third quarter of the moon arrives today at 5:39 a.m. The moon rises today at 2:42 a.m. and it sets at 11:18 a.m. The new moon will arrive on Wednesday, the 18th of March. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the wee hours, high tide, 4:19 a.m., 1 meter 19. In the morning, low tide, 10:46 a.m., 12 centimeters. In the afternoon, high tide, 4:53 p.m., 1 meter 1. At night, low tide, 11:01 p.m., 21 centimeters. In our shared realm of plants and animals, in the last 2 days, a pod of about a dozen dolphins has been spotted in Hell Gate around the northern tip of Roosevelt Island, near Pot Cove, and up under the Triborough Bridge. The Astoria ferry even slowed down, not to avoid hitting the dolphins, they're too agile for that, but so riders on the ferry could get a good view of the dolphins as they jumped out of the water and frolicked in the East River. Gotham Whale reports that they are short-beaked common dolphins that are recognizable by the yellow flash marking on their sides. These are common in the New York Bight, but generally keep to deeper waters than their relatives, the bottlenose dolphins. An unusual and delightful sight. Commemorations. On this day in 1811, skilled textile workers broke into workshops in the town of Arnold, Nottinghamshire, England, and smashed the new industrial looms that threatened their livelihood. The protesters called themselves Luddites, after the legendary weaver called Ned Ludd. Trouble had been brewing in the region for some time, as economic distress caused by the Napoleonic Wars had reduced many workers to penury and unemployment. New industrial technologies also imperiled skilled workers. Troops were called out to put down the protests. The unrest and smashing of looms carried on until 1816. The term Luddite has entered our lexicon for anyone who opposes new technologies. It can be a term of disapprobation or praise, depending on your outlook. On this day in 1959, the play A Raisin in the Sun opened at the Ethel Barrymore Theater in New York. It tells the story of a black family on the south side of Chicago and their struggle to move upward. It was written by Lorraine Hansberry and directed by Lloyd Richards. The cast included Sidney Poitier, Ruby Dee, Claudia McNeil, and Louis Gossett Jr. It was a Broadway first, an all-black production from the cast to the writer and director. The New York Drama Critics Circle named it the best play of 1959. Annals of Gay Liberation. On this day in 1973, a group of 20 met at the Metropolitan Duane United Methodist Church on 7th Avenue and 13th Street to found the group Parents of Gays. Later, in 1982, the group would take the name Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, or PFLAG. One of the founders was Jean Manford, whose son, a gay activist, had been beaten at a protest in 1972. PFLAG has grown to be a key support group of people standing up for their queer family members and friends. On this day in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev became the leader of the Soviet Union. He opened the Soviet system to reform, and his policy of perestroika dismantled the totalitarian state. Gorbachev is in some ways a tragic figure, whose vision of reform created the possibility of a new beginning for his vast country. But it also precipitated the breakup of the USSR, and the Russian Federation, after a period of openness, descended once again into authoritarianism. Remember the vision Mikhail Gorbachev brought to his leadership of the USSR. Today, Lithuania celebrates its independence from the Soviet Union in 1990. And that is the Observatory, Wednesday the 11th of March, 2026.